Colin and I talk about this all the time, but it's like output before input. So get it out of your mind and get your to-do list down before you check your email, because oftentimes when I was younger, I would let my email define my to-do list.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I want to share with you a conversation that I had with my friends Colin and Samir. They are YouTubers, creatives, filmmakers, just really great guys. We had this conversation about journaling and productivity. It's something that I've been wanting to talk about on this channel for a while. I'm currently in the process. I just ordered a journal a couple minutes ago. I ordered some pens, and I'm gonna start a new system and a new process. And before I share that with you guys, I really wanna flesh it out and make sure that it works. And I'm not just sharing with you some bullshit that doesn't. I have journaled a lot in the past, but not with a really strict system. Oftentimes it's very loose, it's very light. It's let me just write down a couple sentences here and there. Let me just try to understand how I'm feeling about certain things. Oftentimes it's very moody, very emotional, but it's worked for me. Just trying to find a better system to share with you guys. So for now, enjoy this conversation with Colin and Samir. I think it really helped me to understand how they use journaling and writing down, putting pen to pad, and how they've brought it into their daily life to make sure that they're more productive. So enjoy this, and I'll see you guys soon. So guys, let's do some questions here for Patreon. I want to talk more. You guys talk a lot about creativity and filmmaking, all that stuff, putting stuff out there. But I want to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes and more of the personal life and how you balance the two. So how do you guys find balancing your work life, creative life, independent entrepreneurial life with your personal life, which may be going to the gym, exercise, yoga, eating healthy, all that stuff?
I think for me, honestly, I didn't really value it until I came to the understanding that I really needed to. Like, I completely burnt out. And I used work always as an excuse to not focus on my personal life. It was like, oh, well, I can't go to the gym. I can't go to social functions as much because I have to work. And the reality is, like, once I kind of burnt out and felt like I was building myself up from ground zero, I came to the understanding that if I do prioritize my mental health, my social life, I actually will do better work.
Yeah, there's a realization that I made about the difference between being productive and being busy. And there's a lot of allure to be busy. Like, it feels really good to just constantly have work to do and feel like you're busy, because it's kind of what you imagine like working hard and being an entrepreneur is. It's like constant work. But then you take a step back and sometimes you are burning yourself out just by doing things that actually might not be that productive. And there was a morning that Colin and I went out and we went surfing, and we spent the first 2 hours of the day surfing, and then the rest of the day we were super productive. And I remember I had anxiety about going and surfing, so I was like, I should be working right now. But I was more productive in the hours after I did something for myself than I would have been if I just woke up and started working. And so I think that understanding of being productive, if you need to go to the gym to do better work, then going to the gym is productive. If you want to go have a coffee by yourself for an hour and write, that's actually productive towards your work. If it gets you in a mental state, that makes you do more work later or better work later. So I think understanding the things about yourself that are important and that allow you to then achieve your creative goals or your business goals, and allowing yourself, accepting the fact that some of those things might not be work, but they're actually helping your work. That was always a thing that confused me, and that recent realization.
Yeah, I think that in a lot of ways, the most productive thing you could possibly do is to not do something.
Yeah.
So if somebody sends you an email asking you to do something, but it really doesn't serve you or benefit your business or help you get where you want to go, don't respond. I mean, unless it's like your mom or something, then you probably should respond. Have there been productivity, like task systems, to-do lists? Like, how do you guys, I know you were showing me your whiteboard before, like how do you guys organize tasks and actually stay productive?
A lot of times it comes down to writing. I mean, collectively together, one of our favorite things to do is just brainstorm around a whiteboard and just write out and kind of get to the bottom of it that way. And I think individually, actually, we both do a lot of writing. Free writing in the mornings just to kind of clear our heads and understand where we're at, but then also taking it a step further and sort of making lists and knocking things off.
And you guys do that with your personal lives as well.
Yeah.
Like, and so how does that play out?
So for me, I wake up in the morning. Typically how it works is I wake up in the morning, I do a little bit of yoga, I drink some water, and then I just do free writing, fully just free writing. And a lot of that is to reinforce and figure out like purpose, like to make sure that my internal compass is aligned of like, why am I doing whatever I'm doing that day? And why am I doing whatever I'm doing in my life? Just to make sure that I'm really aligned and understand the thoughts that are happening in my head. It really helps me just untangle what's going on in my mind and help me align with my actual tasks for the day. So that's a free writing journal. And then, as I have a coffee and the morning goes on, then it's more of like tactical to-do list. And I actually separate my journals into not only different purposes, but different projects. So like I have a podcast journal. That's ideas for the Colin and Samir podcast. I have a YouTube channel journal. That's ideas for that. So I can actually start segmenting these different parts of my life and the different ideas I have so they don't get jumbled up.
It's like a physical journal.
Physical
Do
journal.
you have any of them here?
Yeah.
We have a bunch.
Can we take a look? We
Sure,
don't have to like
yeah.
open and flip through them, but
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
grab them real quick?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I think that'd be cool to just like look at. The biggest misstep I made in journaling is like combining my personal with my work.
Yeah.
And then I would be at a work meeting and open up my journal and it would be like, today was a tough day.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, dear diary.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is actually kind of
I know.
embarrassing. But it's always interesting to see people's journal. Is this something, do you feel weird about if I were to look in it?
Some of the pages, yeah.
Give me a
Definitely.
page I can look at.
A page you could look at?
Yeah.
Oh, these are notes from the BuzzFeed.
Because what about it would feel weird?
I mean,
Just personal stuff?
yeah, because some days I just have personal
Oh, you do have, like,
stuff where,
intermixed.
where like it's intermixed, which I should probably separate.
Yeah, that's my exact feeling.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'll keep my journal on the counter because I'm working on it, and I'm like, I hope Nat doesn't open it because I'm like,
Yeah, the next step for me is organizing my journal usage, like splitting them up.
yeah.
Because yeah, I'll have work stuff, drawings.
I'm
and
surprised that you don't have like the grid too.
I don't even have
It
like.
just seems it's very free form.
It's my stuff. Sometimes like these pages are upside down. They don't even go.
Yeah,
the
what are
same.
you doing?
Yeah. But that's I'm messy,
But that's kind of.
but I sink into that. Like
It's cool that
it's
works.
like part of my.
That's.
I don't know.
This is actually really amazing to see because I'm like the fact that some of these pages are upside down. Halfway through the book, you just decided to start going the other way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could never do that because I'm so type A. I'm like,
Yeah.
everything needs to be the same. I need to think out every page.
Yeah.
So I actually don't have all of them
Oh, holy cow!
here
Yeah.
with me, but this is the morning pages. So this is every morning.
So cool!
Just like straight up free writing.
Wow,
Like
so just filled up.
yeah, and just like different titles and literally just pages of like free writing. Just whatever thought is in my mind in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll just write. These are like essentially like it's like a meditation for me to just write.
How long have you been doing it for?
Let's see.
This is the first one.
Yeah, it's the first one. So November 12th, 2018. Yeah. So it hasn't been that long, but it's been a really regular practice of mine.
Yeah.
And it really is a practice. Like it's overwhelming when you first approach a blank page, but after a week of doing it, you get so excited to fill the page. The first time I did it, it was so hard to fill the page with words. I was like coming up with random sentences because I was like, how am I going to fill this page? And what you're supposed to do, or what the morning pages really is 3 pages of writing. And then I just was like, you know what? I can't write 3 pages right now. That's not where I am. So I'm going to start with 1 page. And I just forced myself to fill a page, and then all of a sudden it turned into 2 pages and 3 pages, and like the thoughts start coming out.
It's also a big journal.
It is, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's a big
most journals
page.
are like the.
Yeah, it's a big page to
big
fill,
page,
but
big page.
I like looking at this blank page.
Yeah.
Like I like the thought of it now, and I like the concept
great.
that it like pushes me to untangle my thoughts.
And
And then these are like little blank moleskins, and these are all. Some of these are new, but I typically will write on top of them what it is, what's the topic.
I like that they're also like these ones are pretty small in terms of being
Yes.
thin.
Yeah.
So it's not as intimidating
Yeah.
because I always get frustrated that I start a journal and I never finish it. It's like the really thick ones, and then I'm like, I have like 4 journals, 5 journals. That I mean, it's been good to actually start them, but I've never filled them up. But I mean, I feel like that is less intimidating.
It
and I
is,
feel
yeah.
like I could get
And then
into
this,
it.
this
Yeah.
is like literally a list. So I'll do this I'll do this the night before and then the morning, and I'll just start like this is like the stuff that feels really good to check off, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
And like cross out and check off. And one thing that I really try and focus on, and that I've been really good about in the later half of my 20s, is doing all of this before I've checked my email, before I've checked Instagram, before I've checked Twitter. And Colin and I talk about this all the time, but it's like output before input. So get it out of your mind and get your to-do list down before you check your email, because oftentimes when I was younger, I would let my email define my to-do list. First thing in the morning, check my email. Someone would send me something. I'd be like, okay, now that's the first thing on my to-do list.
You're already working and you don't even think about it.
I'm already on defense, where I actually have a lot of things I want to get done that day. And so check email can be a part of your to-do list, but limit the time and don't have that define your day. Because anything can come at you, right? In an email, especially when you're working at a company, things come at you like crazy. So giving yourself the time in the morning to make the goals for your day and have them not be defined by what other people are asking of you.
So this is something that I do. I wonder if you guys do it as well, but I don't have a work to-do list and a personal to-do list. Everything is just combined into one. So then my workout routine would be on my to-do list with edit this video today. Because I know that I can only do so many things in a day, whether it's 4, 5, 6, unless I'm doing really small tasks. Do you do that as well, or do you separate them?
I split up work from personal life. But I think what helps me the most is when I make a list that's along the lines of like, tonight will be successful if, and that's like putting out my clothes for the next day, having tea, answering those 2 emails. Like just attainable things that I know I can do that will set me up for the next day. And then tomorrow will be successful if, or today, a lot of times in the morning I'll do today will be successful if, and I try and pick like 3 or 4 things that I know I can actually do that are attainable.
That's really great. I love that you set your clothes out before the next day, because I do that too. I do it before big days. If I have like a shoot the next day that I'm nervous about, I am like just folding everything perfectly, setting it up on the bedstand, and I'm like going through all my gear. I've got like a checklist of things that I do.
It gets you in the mental space. Like I do that too. Like my cup of water, I'll like set it out the night before that. Like I come downstairs and this is the cup of water that's gonna wake me up, and like I make sure everything's there for me in the morning, and it just gets you in the mindset the night before. You're already there like that.
Yeah. So I love this idea of journaling. So if people want to start a journaling practice, they haven't done it. It may be overwhelming to see 4 or 5 different journals.
Sure.
So what's like the first step that they should take? Should it be like the morning journaling?
I would recommend that. Start with the morning journaling. And sometimes when I first got started, I was apprehensive as to what I was going to write, if I was going to be able to fill a page, if I was going to be able to commit. And then I would start my mornings by writing. My first line would be, I just have to start. I would write that every morning. And then I would kind of get over that hump of like whatever my first sentence was going to be. And I knew I was just going to get started. And as long as I finished the page, I was happy, and I generally surprised myself with what came out of it.
I just love the idea of like the fact that this isn't digital, the fact this isn't a notepad on the computer, because it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy. Dude, I pull up Google Chrome and I'm just like, you go into the habit of going to Gmail, to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter, and like you just automatically go one next to the next to the next to the next. And a journal, I love the idea of just pulling it out. That's the first thing you do in the morning before you ever even open the computer.
For me too, like I don't even restrict myself to just words, because I draw and I doodle a lot. So if I have to fill the page by finishing up the second half with a drawing, I do that.
Oh, that's cool.
But as long as I finish the page, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Mine would just be lots of like dicks. Lots of beautiful drawings of dicks.
Hell yeah, man.
Real super bad.
Hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice. Cool.
I would also say that if it overwhelms you to like free write, just start with to-do lists, because to-do lists are like, I never used to respect a to-do list, especially with my personal life. I would respect it in work, like, okay, I gotta email this guy back, I gotta do this proposal, whatever. But I would never respect it in my life of like, I wanna fold my laundry tonight. And I would have that in my mind, but then I just wouldn't do it. And then when you start writing it down, it just becomes so tangible and real, and there's an action to take when it's done, that you just get in that process of like, oh, I like this feeling of like making a promise to myself, or like creating some sort of accountability for myself. Like I would say, just if you have no practice of writing, a to-do list is a great place to start, because everyone has things to do, and just writing them down makes it more real.
Also, though, there's this whole thing where you like start with drawing dicks.
Yeah, just start. Like
Yeah.
my bullet, like when I do a check mark off, it's actually
It's
just
a dick.
Yeah, it's not an actual check.
I have one other thing you were
Yep.
just mentioning. So I have a horrible habit of typing in the word Facebook.com. Like I don't know why, because I don't even spend any time on Facebook anymore. But probably just because whenever I developed that habit, I was probably 16, 17, and just habit. Once Google Chrome opens, I type in Facebook, and I showed Colin that I created a redirect. So every time I type in Facebook.com, it goes to a Google Doc of my life goals. And reminds me that this place is not going to help me get to there. Like this is not the path. And I haven't done that across the board with Twitter or anything like that. But that it's such a habit to type in Facebook.com that I just had to do that so that anytime I'm feeling anxious or something, or I open the computer and it's a habit that I do, it redirects me and I'm faced with my like big picture life goals. Not like weekly. It's just like big picture. Where do you want to go in life?
That's really good. I think I'm gonna include that on. Eventually, I'm gonna do a digital minimalism video. It's just I haven't. I'm really bad at it as it is. Like I feel like mine isn't like perfect, and even with all the hard drives and stuff I have, I'm like, let me just organize my shit first and figure out the best steps. But it's like things like that that you can bring into it that helps you be more mindful. I think is great.
The app is called Switcheroo.
Switcheroo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll just take a URL and switch it to a different one.
That's
so
so
you
clever.
just put in whatever URL you want, and it'll just switch it with the one you want it to go to.
That's great.
It's really good.
Cool. All right, I think that's it. Thanks for showing me your journals.
Cool.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
Thanks for being patrons,
Patrons, right?
Patrons.
I call them Patreons.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I call them Little D's.
Little
I
D's.
started that. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. That was like cause
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still
well,
call them
I
Little
actually,
Ds.
I try to, but I
Are
just.
we big D's?
I forget. No, I'm Big D. My
You're the
friend.
big D.
Yeah. Let's.
You're the big D.
So there's
be
only
clear
one
about
big
this.
D and everyone else is little D.
You guys are medium D's.
I'll take it.
Me
Whatever.
D's?
Yeah,
Me D's?
there was a social media influencer strategist that I talked to once, and she told me that if you want to be a social influencer, you gotta call your tribe something.
Yeah.
And so then I picked Little D's.
What else other than
Yeah,
little
I thought
D's?
I was like, I have to humiliate them somehow.
Of course.
So they're very embarrassed about it, but they'll get over it. It's cool.
Cool.
It's just for Patreon now, and I'm getting the courage then to bring it to a widespread audience. I don't
Got
think
it.
in
Testing it.
2019 it's gonna fly. Cool. Thanks for doing this, guys.
Yeah.